Welcome back to the talk show on Learn English at Home 79. Today's syrupy topic comes from personal experience. Having grown up with maple syrup on everything from pancakes to bacon, I was shocked on a trip to Europe, turns out. A lot of folks there have never even tasted the stuff.
That's hilarious. When I lived in France, I introduced my host family to maple syrup, and they were less than impressed. Apparently, the taste can be a real shock if you're used to honey or fruit jams. It's wild how regional food preferences shape our palates.
Absolutely. And it's not just about taste. Maple syrup is a cultural icon in North America, while in Europe, some people think it tastes downright strange. But that brings us to the question of the day, sent in by Ren. How is syrup actually made?
Great question. Let's peel back the layers because maple syrup's journey from tree to table is way more fascinating than most people realize. Ready to dig in?
Let's tap into it, pun fully intended. To kick things off, let's talk about where syrup even comes from. Okay, so most folks have heard syrup and trees go together, but not all trees are created equal. Maple syrup comes from the maple family, right?
Exactly! Sugar maples are the MVPs here. They're famous for those helicopter seeds, and iconic leaves Canada even put a maple leaf on their flag. These trees have the perfect balance of sugar in their sap.
So, it's not like you can walk up to any tree with a straw and get syrup. Imagine if you could just slurp it up like a juice box.
If only. But the reality is, you can't tap just any tree. The sap needs to be rich in sugar, and that's where maples excel. Other trees have sap, but it's usually too watery or tastes odd.
All right, let's walk through the tapping process. You can't just poke a hole willy-nilly, right?
Right you are. The process is delicate. You drill a small hole into the bark just deep enough to reach the sap, but not so deep you damage the tree's health. Then you insert a hollow tube, and sap starts to drip out slowly, like nature's IV drip.
I love that image, a tree with a little tap, giving up its sap drop by drop. But what exactly is this sap? Does it look like syrup?
Not at all! Fresh sap is mostly clear, runny, and tastes like slightly sweet water. If you drank it right from the bucket, you'd probably be disappointed by how mild it is.
So, if sap is just watery and mildly sweet, how do we turn it into that rich golden syrup?
It all comes down to boiling. You take the collected sap and heat it up, causing the water to evaporate as steam. Here's the trick. The sugar stays behind, so the more you boil, the sweeter and thicker the syrup becomes.
That's kind of like making a reduction sauce in cooking, just way more extreme.
Exactly. And as you boil, the liquid changes color, becoming that classic amber hue because heat caramelizes some of the sugar. It's kitchen chemistry at its finest.
I've heard it takes a huge amount of sap to make even a small bottle of syrup. How much are we talking about?
Get this, it takes about 40 gallons of sap to make a single gallon of maple syrup. That's like filling a kiddie pool just to get one jug. Most of what's collected is water that gets boiled away.
No wonder the real stuff is so expensive. It's like liquid gold, not just in taste, but in effort.
Exactly. That's why real maple syrup is prized and why some people try to stretch it with corn syrup in cheaper brands.
Let's get a bit nerdy. Why do we have to boil the sap? Is it just about getting rid of water, or is there more to it?
Boiling does two big things. First, it concentrates the sugar. Second, it actually changes the chemical makeup. The heat causes a reaction called caramelization, which gives maple syrup its signature flavor and color. It's a bit like the Maillard reaction when you brown meat.
So, if you kept boiling until there was no water left, what would you end up with?
You'd get maple sugar, a solid block of sweetness. Some folks even make maple sugar candies by boiling all the way down. It's a totally different treat.
Now, maple gets all the love, But are there other kinds of syrup out there? Can you make syrup from, say, corn or agave?
Absolutely. Corn syrup, cane syrup, agave syrup, even violet syrup will come from boiling down the sugary liquids found in different plants. Each has its own flavor profile and culinary uses, though maple remains the gold standard for pancakes.
Sounds like a syrup world tour. I bet the process is similar: extract the sap or juice, boil it, and concentrate the sugar, right?
You got it. The main difference is the starting liquid corn juice, cane juice, agave nectar, but the science of boiling down to syrup is universal.
Switching gears a bit, who came up with the idea to make maple syrup in the first place?
Credit goes to the indigenous peoples of northeastern North America. Long before Europeans arrived, Native Americans had figured out how to tap trees and boil sap into syrup or sugar. It's a tradition that goes back hundreds, maybe thousands of years.
Incredible! Considering how much work it takes, it's kind of amazing anyone even thought to try it.
Some stories say people were inspired by animals like the sapsucker woodpecker, which pecks at trees to drink sap. Nature can be the best teacher.
It's no accident the maple leaf is a national symbol for Canada. How big is maple syrup up north?
Huge! Over 70% of the world's maple syrup comes from Canada, mostly Quebec. It's such a source of pride that there's even a strategic maple syrup reserve like oil, but sweeter.
A maple syrup reserve? That's next-level dedication. I heard there was even a heist once, like something out of a dessert-themed Ocean's 11.
True story. In 2012, nearly 0 tons of syrup were stolen. It made headlines worldwide and proved just how valuable this sticky stuff is.
Before we wrap up, what's next for maple syrup? Are scientists or chefs doing anything new with it?
Definitely. There's research into tapping younger trees sustainably, and chefs are experimenting with maple syrup in everything from cocktails to barbecue sauces. Plus, with climate change, some regions are studying how shifting temperatures might affect sap yields.
So the future of syrup could get even sweeter, maybe a bit sticky. Any closing thoughts for our curious listeners?
Just this. Next time you drizzle syrup, remember the centuries of tradition, science, and a whole lot of boiling that went into that tiny drop. Stay curious and maybe try it on something new, like roasted veggies.
I'm game. Thanks for joining us on this delicious journey, and thanks to Ren for the question. See you next time for more food mysteries.